Welcome to Gutter Trash, episode 259, Blue, by Pat Grant. My name is Eric.
I'm Jason.
Howdy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
What the hell's going on?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I braved the ice storm to get here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I almost slipped a couple times.
You shouldn't have done that.
Well, you know what? Here's what happened. Like, check this out. I was tying my shoes before I came over here. You notice how one of them has a white shoestring and one's brown?
Yes. I just thought that was you being crazy.
It's some sort of, or like political statement.
Right, yeah.
No, I was tying my shoes, and one of the shoestrings just snapped in my hand, and it was like...
That's the worst.
It was like a 6-inch section. It wasn't just like a little corner.
No, it's never small. Yeah.
And so I was like, huh. And so I was scourging around in the basement, and I found another shoestring, and I came up, and I like took the shoestring out of my shoe, and laced it up with the white shoestring, and tied it up, and then like I was getting ready to leave, and I looked down, and I happened to notice that the really short shoestring is on the other shoe still. Like I accidentally
did the wrong shoe.
Replaced the wrong one because I'm a fucking genius. So I threw away like the good one. I'm gonna have to go digging through the garbage.
Well, you could stop at the store and buy a whole new set.
That's cost money.
It's like $1.
That's more than I've got. I have enough money that I could stop at the post office and make a Xerox of the good shoestring, and then tie that piece of paper through my eye holes.
Do you want me to go buy you a shoestring? It'll be your Christmas present.
Just get me some alcohol instead.
I'd rather get you something useful.
Well, we'll see. I'll ask Santa for one and you for the other. We'll see how it works out. So that was my adventure.
Well, sounds fun.
Pathetic is the word you were reaching for.
Yeah, you know what happens.
Yeah, it's happened to me before, but I'm never the second part where I replaced the wrong one.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. It's too bad. I'm a vagrant. At least I showered today. I told you yesterday I hadn't showered for a couple of days. I did shower. Oh man.
You broke me. Blue by Pat Grant.
Blue by Pat Grant. Yeah. So,
how did you hear about this book?
Actually, back when I was working at Mavericks, a friend of mine who moved to Columbus came in. I hadn't seen him in like 2 years.
Pat Kane?
No, not that guy. His name was Jeff Judd. And he was like, "You read any good books lately?" And I was like, "The Now of Brown." And he's like, "I've never heard of it." And I was like, "You should buy it." And so he did. And he was like, "Have you read Blue by Pat Grant?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "You should check it out." And so, we didn't have a copy at Mavericks.
Right.
And months went by and I forgot all about it. And I quit my job. And then I was selling some copies of Edgy Dog Saturn to Superfly Comics in Yellow Springs. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "We can't buy anything right now." He's like, "We could do store credit." And I was like, "Okay." Because I hadn't bought any comics. Right. And I looked around and I found this. So I traded some of my shitty comics for this.
Some of your shitty comics for this shitty comic.
That's right. But at least now I have both.
Yeah, there you go.
No, this is I will start off by saying this is better than my comics. I think I got the better end of the deal.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
This is certainly a nicer looking book than yours.
It's very well put together.
Except for this seems to be a problem with every hardback comic that we ever read.
Oh, yeah.
The cover is bowing.
Yeah, they all do that now.
I don't get it. Is there just something wrong with my apartment and the humidity in it?
It's possible. Maybe do you live on? Was this built on an Indian burial ground? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then that can't be it. Because they're typically known for their low humidity.
Right.
That's why people build there.
Exactly.
It's prime real estate. So yeah, I don't know.
But no. What I'm saying is that I really enjoy your work.
Oh,
and that there's it takes a lot to be better than the stuff that I read from you.
Aw, you're just being nice.
And I'm not just being nice. I'm being 100% honest with that.
Well, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So I do not think that this book is better than any issue of Veggie Dog Saturn.
Whoa.
But I think it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was about.
I still may not. No, that's not true. I have an idea.
I really like it, but I don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fucking beautiful.
It's a very well drawn book.
Yeah.
Everything about it, the arts, the coloring, the design, the layouts, everything about it is really nice.
Even when I first saw it, I knew I wanted to read it because I love wide-angle comics.
Right.
Like, I wish half of them were wide-angle comics. And this doesn't, hit you over the head with the fact that it is, but there's maybe a dozen instances where there's, a long panel that goes, because it's like, I don't know, it's the size of a graphic novel, but it's, on its side, so the width is greater than the height.
Marvel did that once.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where this guy got the idea. He read that, Daredevil annual or something.
I don't know if they did a Daredevil one.
I know there was I think the only one I read was the new X-Men had an annual.
Yeah. That's maybe one of the two that I wound up reading.
Right. Because Grant Morrison read it.
Right, yeah. But yeah, so this one, that's right. I would say that's right.
Yeah. It's just, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this looks awesome. I love, I'm attracted to that format.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
I don't, I'm not particularly fond of the format, but I'm not offended by it either.
Right. It's just different.
Yeah.
There's just some more things that you can do with that format, like wide angle, crowd shots, or spaceship crashes, or just certain things. It doesn't. I mean, it wouldn't work for every story, obviously, but this one with it obviously has a big theme with waves and the beach, so they kind of use that maybe a couple times.
Right.
But yeah, so it's basically about 3 kids who skip school to go surfing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's I'm gonna go ahead and give the Hollywood pitch here.
Mm-hmm.
It is basically sort of like Stand By Me meets District 9.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, spoiler, towards the beginning of the book, they mentioned that, one of the kids from the school that they go to says, hey, there's a dead body on the train tracks. I just went and saw it. You guys should go see it. So instead of surfing, they just decide, they've skipped school to surf, but they decide to stash their boards and go look for the body.
Well, they go to surf, but the waves aren't there, something, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
They're just inclement weather. For whatever reason, they decide not to surf.
Right.
And, they decide instead that they're going to go look for that dead body.
Which, I read the article in the back.
I read parts of it.
And Pat Grant says he said he realizes, there's obvious
Right.
The Body and Stand By Me references, but he said that happened to him when he was a kid.
Right.
Before he'd ever heard of Stand By Me or The Body, and he said he just had to incorporate it into the story because that'd be a pretty big thing.
That's a formative experience, I'm sure. Yeah,
learning of a dead body on a train track.
Right,
Yeah.
going to go see it.
Mhm.
Sure. Yeah. So there's a multi-page essay in the back. I skimmed most of it. I didn't really.
I read the first couple things, but then there was this whole section about the surf comics that inspired him, like Rick Griffin and some of those guys from the 60s, and I read a little bit of that, but I just, barring Point Break, my interest in surfing is pretty much zero.
Right.
Maybe the Silver Surfer, but...
That Silver Surfer, for me, that's pretty much it for me, as far as surfing goes.
Well, he even, I gotta say, Pat Grant even, at the back, he's like, I read some Jack Kirby Silver Surfers. He's like, that guy didn't know anything about how to draw a surfer.
Right.
And I was like, well, that may be true, but come on, you can't make fun of Jack Kirby. Yeah. You're just going to hurt your chances with me giving you a good review.
Well, he also says that he hated Jack Kirby.
He wasn't a fan.
Yeah. Or Dave Sim or Frank Miller or anything.
Right.
Because he basically states that he didn't read any comics when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Because there were hardly any comics to read in Australia, apparently.
Right.
Because it's a no man's land.
It's just Eddie Campbell and Pat Grant on an entire continent together. No, he did say, later he was like, yeah, much respect, though, to that stuff. He's like, it's just not my thing.
Right.
But he said at first he just hated it when he saw it.
Right. And, I didn't love Jack Kirby.
Right. I don't think everybody has to.
Right.
I just think they should.
But he does bring up a good point about the fact that it's, if you don't have any nostalgia for, that type of comic, then, once you eventually get into it,
oh, yeah.
It's not going to affect you at all.
It's like with anything. It's like, there's certain bands or movies or whatever I'll see, that are 30, 40, 50 years old, and, they've inspired things that I fucking love.
Right.
But by the time I see the source material, I'm like, I'm glad that you were there as a stepping stone, but I could care not less,
Right.
So yeah, I see where he's coming from. But yeah, like you said, the District 9 part, it's also got elements of culture clashes and racism.
Yep. And aliens.
And aliens.
Or whatever they're supposed to be.
Yeah, everybody in this book looks like some sort of creature, but the blue creatures that show up are much more alien looking than the rest.
Yeah, well, the main characters are, they're not, okay. I would describe all the human characters as Kricfalusian.
As who?
John Kricfalusi, the creator of Ren and Stimpy. Yeah,
right.
Everyone's super cartoony and over exaggerated,
kind of gross looking,
and
right.
But clearly human,
right?
Yeah. But these other creatures look like bowling pins with tentacles,
right? Yeah, yeah. So a little different.
Yeah, and they're blue. Hence the title.
Yeah, I think the blue is like the water in them.
Water,
but still,
and maybe the emotion.
Ooh. Yeah, because it's weird to me though. Like reading this, it almost feels more like a vignette or something. Because I think the story, air quotes, is more like an atmosphere than it is a narrative. Mm-hmm. Like the only real story to it is just how people feel about things. Like there's not I don't feel like anybody really learned anything or there's any conclusions in this.
No, not at all.
It's just it gives you a really good atmosphere of what that town was like,
right.
When the immigrants came. But it doesn't really feel like I was really surprised when it ended, especially since there's 20 pages of notes in the back.
Right.
I totally thought there was a lot more story.
Oh yeah, I did too.
And I was like, what? When it ended. Not that I think that's horrible, I just think it for me, it just more created a mood than it told a story.
Yeah. I'll say that it ended better than Battling Boy, even though it didn't really end.
Right.
But it did feel like there was a sense of conclusion. You know, I mean, the characters don't really learn anything, and we don't really learn anything either.
Right.
You know, particularly, like, you know, what happened to, like, some of the other characters. You know.
The only thing I really got from the ending, as far as, like, something that shows you what happens later on, is there's this motif throughout the story, because it's about 3 characters, Christian, Vern, and Muck are the 3 kids.
Yeah.
And basically Christian is recounting this story from his childhood as he's an adult now.
Right.
And he's still living in the town, Bolton, which is why we'll be listening to Michael Bolton later as the break.
Of course. Yeah.
But he's living in
I was
Bolton.
wondering why you brought that CD, but yeah, it makes sense now.
You thought it was just Christmas early?
Well, yeah. He is on all those Subaru commercials right now. So.
he's a big name. So throughout the retelling or the narrative or whatever, Christian, his job apparently is to paint the buildings white where they've had graffiti on them.
Right.
So he's basically, I mean, it's kind of hit you over the head metaphorical with they're whitewashing out all of the signs of the immigrants.
Right.
Because like the blue alien people do these weird, crazy drawings on graffiti style. And then towards the end of the book, you know, the alien kind of scribbles something on the white wall to like kind of make you say like, they're not going to be ignored, or, you know, their voice will be heard, or that sort of thing. And like that's all I really got out of it. It was more like it wasn't like, damn, yeah, that was a good ending. It was more like, oh, okay,
right, yeah.
And then it just kind of ended.
Right. Yeah, and like can't remember too clearly, but I mean, it's not like, you know, the immigrants came and then were all driven out. They basically took over the town, and had all the white people left.
Right.
You know.
Except for Christian, maybe? Or
there's like a handful still, I believe.
Yeah.
But, you know, like sort of he describes, you know, towards the end, that, you know, that basically the day that they skipped school was sort of the day that the blue aliens just sort of started showing up.
Right.
And that, you know, it's also sort of the day that the town kind of stopped caring about itself.
Like they just kind of let everything go.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that was the reason they didn't surf too, is there was like this crazy wave that brought in the immigrants on their vessels.
Boats,
but it was also the reason why maybe they didn't surf, because the water was too harsh or whatever.
Right,
I don't know. But yeah, so that was the day that a lot of ships crashed, and that was the body on the tracks was one of the
creatures.
One of the creatures, yeah. Because he just kind of wandered off the shore and got ran over by a train.
Right.
So yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's okay.
It's a good little like parable or whatever.
Right. It's worth looking at for the art.
It's beautiful art. Like it totally reminds me of Dave Cooper and Jim Woodring kind of mashed together, which I love both of those guys. So yeah, I think the style is awesome, and it doesn't look like a ripoff of either of those. It just it has its own thing, and I'm impressed because this is his debut graphic novel. So so that's exciting.
Yeah,
I'd love to see something else that he does.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in seeing future stuff from this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as the story goes, it's passable. But, but again, it
creates a good atmosphere.
It creates a good atmosphere. It looks great.
I think he's got a good way with characters and dialogue.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it reads well. It's just not like it's not a meaty story.
I will say that some of the dialogue is, and you know, this is just me being a dirty, ignorant American, but you know, there's a lot of slang that I could pick up some of what it meant here and there, but there's a lot of it that, like, to this point, I still have no idea what some people were saying.
Could mean this or that.
Right, yeah.
I love, I think my favorite character, though, is as they're walking down the train tracks looking for the body, there's this girl that skipped school, and she's just she's over there by this like mound of pipes and things, and she's just trying to break it all and destroy it. And I really like that character for some reason. That was a good little David Lynchian moment where she's just breaking shit on the side of the train tracks. So yeah, it's neat. Like I definitely, I think if I talk to my friend again, I'll be like, so now Brown, I kind of win.
Yeah, you totally do.
But it's not a contest. They're all good comics.
It's a contest.
But yeah, thumbs up for Mr. Pat Grant. Good job, sir.
Yeah, thumbs
wavering
towards the up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful.
All right, want to take a break?
Sure. Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Yeah? How'd you enjoy that break?
Enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, me too. It's good stuff. Got a lot done.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I drank some water.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is mostly what I do when I'm not sleeping.
You should try to figure out if you can drink water while sleeping.
Oh, I've tried it. Ended disastrously. I slept outside in the rain. I figured that would be the easiest way to.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Did you almost drown?
Doogie raped me.
Oh, okay.
Because he lives in my backyard sometimes.
Yeah. I forgot about that. I don't know if this was when he was living with you or not. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. No, he's like a feral neighborhood animal. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what can you tell me? How's that Batman game?
Batman game is fun.
Arkham Origins.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's my only Black Friday purchase.
Yeah.
It was available on Amazon for 50% off. So it was like $30, and then I had a $10 gift certificate from Amazon. So I decided, what the fuck?
That's good.
Yeah.
$20.
Nope.
And you didn't have to leave your house.
Nope.
See, that's the way to Black Friday shop.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm sure I bought something on Black Friday, but it was probably like food or gas.
Right.
But yeah, I don't like shopping on Black Friday.
I went Black Friday shopping once, and it wasn't too bad. It was last year. I decided I needed a new computer monitor, so I got a good deal, and I purchased it online, but I had to go pick it up from the store. So all I had to do was go up to the customer service desk and say, "Hey, I have this order,"
Right.
and they went to the back and got it for me, and that was it.
That's awesome.
But that morning, I wound up meeting a friend of mine who had to work on Black Friday. Met her for breakfast, and that was insane.
The actual restaurant, you mean?
The restaurant was fucking packed.
Because everybody was fueling.
Yep.
They were eating lunch already, probably.
Yeah, I mean, this was 10 o'clock, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, when, like, we got done with breakfast, and we were trying to figure out if we wanted to go hang out somewhere, but we were near the mall area.
Right.
We were just like, let's just call this good, and,
Abort mission.
yeah, she didn't want to hang out near people, mere hours before she had to go deal with them directly.
Right.
And, you know me, I just never want to do that anyway.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, this is the only time I've ever done any Black Friday deal thing online.
I'm usually working on Black Friday, but it's usually pretty dead at Mavericks.
Yeah.
So this was obviously the first year in forever that I wasn't.
Right.
So I just kind of stayed at home. Actually, I went to my girlfriend's and I think we went out to eat, but that was it.
Right. This year I did go out. I went to the post office, and then I went to my coworker's house, and then I did go to GameSwap, where I did not buy anything, but I was just hanging out with my friends who work there.
Were they doing Black Friday deals?
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I mean, not crushed or anything like that, but
Right.
they were doing brisk business.
I think Mavericks always did, like, if there was a Black Friday deal, it was like 5 cents off if you buy 200 bags and boards or something.
Right. I think you guys have had a couple of good deals.
Yeah.
At least last year, I think you guys did.
Maybe.
50% off of trades and graphic novels.
Yeah, maybe like the last year or two.
Right.
It was usually pretty. He was pretty much against any sort of
promotion or
sale, right.
yeah, anything that would pick up business.
Yeah. Those are things that he was not interested in.
Right. But all that happened 2 weeks ago. So
yeah.
I mean,
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a full week in between Black Friday and today.
And you've been using it to play your Batman.
And I have, yeah. I got it Tuesday, and yeah, I've been playing it, every day since.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I mean, not to the point. I described this on my blog a little bit. Me and video games have a relationship in which I play them and they suck my time away.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
But I've been pretty good about not letting it do that.
You still managed to keep your blog updated.
Blog is updated today. Honestly, today the only time I played was about 20 minutes before you showed up.
Yeah, sweet. Good for you.
I was doing other things, such as watching Ghostbusters.
The original.
Yes,
that's a great film.
It is a really good film.
Yeah.
I was just looking for something to have on that I could just easily ignore.
Right.
And I figured I've seen this movie hundreds of times.
You could look up at your favorite parts.
Right, yeah.
When you see the cigarette dangling off of Ray Stance's mouth or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like the good parts.
Yeah. This is a fantastic movie, and really well written, and for a movie that is almost 30 years old, still has some pretty good special effects.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. I love it.
And I will say, though, this is the first time I've watched it since I've realized how much Bill Murray seems to hate everything Ghostbusters related, and the fact that he was in it, and everyone related to it, and it shows.
Really? You think? In the movie?
Uh-huh.
I think he was supposed to have that sort of, I think that was written into his character, that sort of nonchalance or...
There's a nonchalance, but it's also disgust.
Why would he hate Ghostbusters even now? I mean, I believe you. I'm just saying, like, why does he hate Ghostbusters?
Because he's just turned into a curmudgeon.
That's so weird to be like... I mean, I'm sure, maybe for a few years, maybe like 3 or 4 years, every time someone saw him, they were like, fucking Ghostbusters, man.
Right.
But could that do it? Because, I mean, it's the fucking Ghostbusters. How cool is that?
Could be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I were him, I would be like, fuck yeah, this made me rich and famous.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
I mean, he was already probably famous, but that was like... It shot him up.
Oh, he was probably C-level fame, and then with this, he was definitely A-level fame. Yeah.
And I know that he must have a little sense of humor about it, because that Jim Jarmusch movie, Coffee and Cigarettes, the Wu-Tang Clan are in that scene with him, and they mention, they're like, hey, you're Bill Murray, Ghostbusted-ass Murray. And he's like, yep, So at least he wasn't like, oh, no, don't include that.
Right. And, in Zombieland also. There's him and the Ghostbusters reference too. So maybe he has a little bit.
He's lighting up.
Yeah. But, I mean, I know he is definitely dead set against Ghostbusters 3.
Right.
Which, I guess, ideally, maybe there shouldn't be a Ghostbusters 3.
Right.
But,
it could be cool, but
it could be cool.
It'd be like Young Guns 3, though. I'd be trepidatious.
Yeah, it'd be exactly like Young Guns. Isn't there already a Young Guns 3?
Ooh, I don't know. Yeah. If there is, that's my next movie pick. Because I've never seen it. I love the first two, though. Man, good movies.
Never seen them. Don't plan to.
Yeah. Yeah, you would hate them. I think largely it's nostalgic for me, because I saw them when I was like 10 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of Westerns, I've been watching Lonesome Dove this week. The 1989 TV series starring Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it, much to my surprise. My aunt from Kentucky who loves Westerns, like, she emailed me and said she went to Walmart a couple nights ago and bought like a DVD that had like 30 Westerns on it. It's one of those like cheap ones. Yeah. And she's like, I just stayed up till like 4 a.m. watching Westerns. But she sent it to me as a Christmas gift, and I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna like this at all. And there are things that I genuinely do hate about it, like the music is so fucking cheesy.
Right.
Like, I just wish it had no music at all. or like, cool music.
Right.
But it's really good. Like, Robert Duvall is incredible at it. And Tommy Lee Jones is pretty awesome too.
Right.
And Steve Buscemi has like a 5-minute cameo in the first 3 hours. It's like a 6-hour TV movie. I've watched 3 hours of it so far. So yeah, that's been my week.
Right.
Drawing and watching Lonesome Dove.
Right.
So yeah, pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah. I went to see Santa Claus Conquers the Martians with my friends Joe and Amanda.
Sweet.
That was fun. A riff tracks thing. Getting into the Christmas spirit.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
I'm not. I'm really not.
Was that your whole experience with Christmas spirit?
That evening? That may have been it. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I bet they could do a riff tracks for Christmas on Mars, the Flame Lips movie.
Probably.
They could probably do that.
Right.
Yeah.
It may cost them some to do that.
I bet the Flame Lips guys are fans, though. So maybe
probably.
they give them a discount. Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, that is why they mostly do public domain stuff.
Right.
I think the only one that they've done that wasn't public domain was Starship Troopers. They had to do a Kickstarter for that. And then honestly, they wanted to do Twilight instead. But the Twilight people said no.
So, Santa Claus vs. the Martians is public domain?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Why is it? Is it that old?
I don't know.
I was thinking only like old stuff was public domain.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that's public domain. Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, but that's old. I thought
That's 69.
I thought the Santa Claus thing was like from the 80s or something.
64.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know it was that old. That's cool. Those guys are good. Yeah, I love that. I'd love to see one of those, actually.
You should have gone to the 6 that I've
I
been to.
know, but they're expensive and they're in a theater full of people. Two things that I'm not a fan of.
It's costly, but you know, I can't really justify the cost.
It's a treat, though.
It's a treat, though.
It's not like they do it every week.
Exactly, right.
It's like every 4 months or something.
Something like that. I know they did. Well, Starship Troopers was in August. Night of the Living Dead was in October, and this was just this past week. So they did those 3 kind of concurrently, but
right.
I think before Starship Troopers, the one prior to that was probably sometime in April or May.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, usually, and they don't have anything scheduled right now, so usually, yeah, there's a chunk.
And how do they do that? They just, like, they only do it once, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's broadcast live?
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And is it like the show where you can see them in the bottom of the screen?
No.
No?
No.
You just see the movie?
You see the movie, and then occasionally they will, like, do a split screen thing where you can see them, like, you know, reading their scripts from the podium or whatever.
Okay. That's cool. That's awesome. I'm a fan, even though I've never experienced it.
You're a fan of the MSC3K.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I've been on a kick lately.
Yeah?
I keep getting home from the library and watching... I watched a movie called Master Ninja. It was a TV show that they turned into 2 movies.
Uh-huh.
So I watched both of them. And it starred Lee Van Cleef as this ninja. And he... and then, like, some Van Patten, like a young Van Patten. I don't know who it was.
Right.
Like Marty Van Patten or something. But Lee Van Cleef was, like, I'm pretty amazing as this ninja because, you know, he's old.
Right.
And Demi Moore was in one of them, and it was, like, her first film, I think.
Nice.
And she was actually pretty good in it. Everybody else was pretty terrible. but they were pretty funny. And, like, Lee Van Cleef does, like, a flying kick in a bar and, like, kicks a support beam out and the entire roof falls on a bunch of people. But like, they literally show it in slow motion. I don't mean the Mystery Science Theater people, but in the movie, like, it's a slow-mo kick, and you can see the board, like, starts falling just before his foot gets to it. I was like, why would they show that in slow motion? That would be something we would do to see if it happened. You know?
Right.
So there were some funny moments, but that was great. Yeah, Master Ninja. I recommend that one.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I should pick a movie then.
You should.
So we could watch a movie together.
Movies.
We're not going to do it tonight, though.
No.
I'm going to go home and nestle myself in and watch some more Lonesome Dove. But yeah, forever and ever I've been talking about this fever dream I had when I was a child, where I remembered a cartoon that scared the shit out of me, and I could never find it ever again. But our friend Brian John Mitchell, with his mad skills, has located it, and I forget what it's called because, like, the title is actually a Japanese title, but I think it's The Monster of Frankenstein.
Yes.
And we found out that I've even asked Matt Brassfield in the past. I was like, if anybody I know has this movie, it's you. It's this creepy fucking Frankenstein cartoon from the early 80s. And he's like, no, don't have it. And then, after we found the title, you asked him again or something, and he was like, oh yeah, I've got that. So
just had to ask him by the title.
Yeah.
That was the key ingredient you were missing.
Exactly. But now we're there.
Yeah. So you're picking that.
We're going to watch that shit.
Because you've talked about that on the show a couple of times.
Yeah.
About seeing this thing and wishing you could find it, not knowing what it was.
Because I swear I haven't seen it since I must have been like 7 or 8 years old the last time I saw it.
Right.
And I remember just thinking it was going to be a cool little cartoon about Halloween, but it was fucking scary. Like, I was scared when it was over.
Yeah.
So I want to see if it has any sort of like coolness to it, or if I was just way off base.
Right.
So
I'm going to guess, just before saying it, I'm not vetoing it.
Right.
I'm going to guess you're way off base.
Probably.
Yeah. Just by playing the odds.
That it's a cartoon.
Yeah, from the 80s.
Yeah.
A Japanese cartoon from the 80s.
I always got scared too when Hong Kong Fooey jumped in that file cabinet.
That is frightening. I mean,
claustrophobia,
exactly,
right? Yeah,
right.
It's like, is he going to get out? He always did, but scared the shit.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Or, maybe he hurts himself in there.
Right.
You don't know.
Yeah, he's not an intelligent man. I mean, he's a janitor.
Right.
You know? Which is what I hope to be come February. But I won't be jumping into the file cabinets, even if it does, suit me up with a sweet-ass ninja suit.
Right. All right, so the Monster of Frankenstein.
Or something like that.
This is going to be... Because usually the things that we watch are available somewhere.
Yeah.
This is not.
I know it's on YouTube, not in English, I think.
All right. I think it is in English, but it is in like 10 different parts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you have to watch all these little segments.
Right.
Yeah.
So good luck, listener, if you feel like watching it with us.
Right.
I hope that somewhere, wherever you are, you also have a Matt Brassfield in your life that, just accumulates obscure shit.
Right.
Just because Frankenstein's in it.
And if you need more information about it, it's Japanese. I think it's from 1981.
Right.
I can't remember the guy's name, the director, but it starts with a K.
I will include this bit of information as well. It is based off of the 1970s Marvel Frankenstein comic.
Yeah.
Done by Mike Ploog.
Which I did not know when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I'm excited now
to
see
and there is also a companion Tomb of Dracula animated movie that is out there as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, look for those.
Alrighty. Then let's depart.
Well, I hope you have a good evening, everyone.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Gutter Trash. You can subscribe to the show from guttertrash.net or from iTunes and leave us a review. Visit guttertrash.net for email information, links to our Facebook and Twitter pages, and for other podcasts and websites in the Gutter Trash Network. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.